Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to moddriven. Out here cruising around in the Honda Civic Sport Coupe manual transmission. And there's a couple things I want to talk about today. First of all, we're going to go over the newest mods that I've added and how they're doing. Now, these aren't mods that you're going to see. I'm going to actually put a couple pictures up when we get to them. But one thing that I have discovered in having this car is it has become my new favorite car. I think this is my favorite car of all time. You know, and I've had a lot of different cars, like 70 some in my lifetime. And I have to say, this one just checks all the boxes for me. It's fun to drive. It's a manual transmission. It's got some oomph to it. It's quick. It fits everywhere. It's comfortable. It has all kinds of mod possibilities, things I can do to it to personalize it, make it better, hopefully, in my opinion. And I love the looks of it. I think it is Honda's version, barring some of the others they've had, I guess, of a sports car. A little economy sports car, we'll call it, because honestly, that's what it is. I mean, this car didn't cost a fortune new, and it certainly didn't cost a fortune used, although I really did pay a premium for it. I mean, I paid $799 just to get it here because I bought it through CarMax. I live in South Texas, so I paid that shipping fee to have it brought here. And again, that was $799. And in the end, you have to figure that as part of the price, right? And then the cost of the car itself, and it was $2,500 or $25,000 some odd dollars. So all said and done, I'm probably about $27,000 or so, maybe a little over, into the price of this car, which is fine because I love it. Like I said, it's my favorite car of all time, strangely enough. Now, let's get to the mods. Oh, and one other thing, it has become my go-to, my daily driver, because it is just so fun to drive. I actually have to suffer a little bit when I'm not daily driving it because I want to be in this car. Don't get me wrong, I do like the others. This is just my favorite. Now, I mentioned a couple of mods that I've done. We're kind of testing these out while I'm out here driving around with you guys. The first one is the shifter. Specifically the shift knob and the little extension that I put on. Originally, I had put a taller shift extension on, or knob extension, rod extension, whatever you want to call it, because with this particular knob that I had, once you screwed it on, well, there were two problems. You couldn't screw it on because by the time the threading from the stock rod hit the threads inside the shifter, because it's pretty far recessed, it wouldn't reach, so you couldn't put it on. You had to go with something else. I put the extension on, and the shortest one I could find was 2 inches, and that was too tall. It was like driving around with a trailer, kind of, not a trailer, but a semi, you know, shift knob. You ever see those, or the shifters? They're way up in the air, right? Some people put them really high up in the air. So it had that kind of weird vibe to it, that kind of weird feeling. I didn't hate it. I mean, it was kind of neat having the shifter up, and we're not talking about a lot in what I've got now. So what I did, I bought another extension to experiment with, and I cut it. My fear in doing that was that I would have destroyed the threads inside that extension and not been able to screw it onto the rod in the car. Fortunately for me, and it's probably just dumb luck, I got the thread right in the right spot when I cut it, and it fits on there perfectly. Now, the shift knob itself, it actually lowered the height of the shift knob in the car probably about, I'd say about 3/4 of an inch or so, which is a lot when you're talking about the shift knob area. And I think now it's perfect. It feels good. I love where it is, and I think this is how I'm gonna keep it. I could go even lower, probably, maybe about another 1/2 inch maybe, but then I think I'm starting to get really too low on the shift area, or on the shift knob itself. And speaking of the shift knob, I did buy one that was heavy, big. It's big and it's heavy. It's about yay big, fits perfectly in the hand. It's about the size of a, I think it's a little bigger actually, but about the size of a cue ball, a billiard ball. But it feels really good in the hand, and the extra weight, I think it's 750 grams or something like that. I don't know. They measure it in the metric system, and I'm not a metric guy. But anyway, it's pretty darn heavy. It may be one of the heaviest that you can actually get. The good thing about having a heavy shift knob is that it makes the throws easier through the gears, because once you push on it and you get the momentum going, even though it's just a short distance, it just wants to go a little bit better, makes it a little bit smoother. And I really like that about it. It just feels good. It makes shifting even better if you can do that in the Honda. And I've mentioned before, Honda has manual transmissions down. They are just buttery smooth, fun to drive. They're not notchy. Everything goes where it's supposed to go, and it really does take a minimal amount of effort. You never have to worry that you're pushing too hard or you're going to damage something. You know, I had a Toyota Tacoma, and it was a 2020, so it's not like it was 20 years old or something, with a manual transmission, and it's one of the worst I've had. It still was fun to drive, but it was notchy, and it just didn't feel good to me. Clunky, I don't know, it was weird. A lot of people like them. I get a little bit of flaming on the channel over there on Rob Motive when I talk about that, but I just tell it like I see it, so that's the way it is. The other mod that I did most recently was a wing on the back of the trunk, a spoiler. I had my doubts about that when I put it on. When I got it, I thought it was going to be too short, that it wouldn't look predominant enough back there on the trunk. But I didn't want something that was going to be huge. You know, I didn't want a Type R spoiler or looking spoiler on the back. They look good on the right cars, I think primarily the hatchbacks, but I didn't think that would look very good on a coupe. So I did go with the OEM version. It cost me about $400 or something like that. And it was a pretty easy install. A little scary. I had to drill a couple of holes to put it in, actually 4 holes on each side. That would be 8 total. But it was very smooth. They provided a template to do it, and it made it easy. Went right in, absolutely no issues with it. I highly recommend it. If you've got a Civic and you're thinking about putting a wing on the back and drilling kind of scares you a little bit, I would recommend that you have some experience drilling in metal, but very minimal. Don't worry about it. It's very simple to do. Just make sure that you get those measurements right. As far as the wing itself, and you guys might be able to see it if you look close, I can see it in the rear view mirror. It probably takes up, I'd say about 1.5 to 2 inches of view space as I'm looking in the mirror in the back. Not enough to cause any trouble. I don't think it's really any issue, but you will notice it's there. Sound-wise, you know, a concern about adding things to cars is you're going to get whistling or vibration sounds, some kind of wind noise off the back. I'm not hearing anything. I still have that rattle over there, by the way, that squeak in the dash. We'll address that down the road. But it's perfect. I love it. I love the look. And as I'm out here test driving, I think it came out pretty well. Anyway, just wanted to bring you guys with me, kind of express my love for the Honda Civic Sport Coupe, and let you know a little bit about a couple of the mods that I've done. I highly recommend both of them. If you want to see how they're done, check out previous videos on the channel. You can see how I did it. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about that Toyota Tacoma, no longer the manual. And Rob Motive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? And while you're at it, smash the subscribe button here too. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.